Hey guys, I want to start this week off by talking a little bit about the plan for the test builds. And let me be clear, what I'm talking about now is not the plan for the final game. This is all just for testing purposes. Just so you guys can try out the mechanics and give me feedback and let me know about bugs. So even though this is for testing, I've created some gameplay so you can have some fun while you're testing everything out. You'll start by selecting a character to play as. Each of the characters has different stats and starts off with a different item. The game is meant to be played in the dark with the light from the flashlights and the torches being very valuable, but for the test build I plan on having the option to play in the light as well. What you're trying to do is find the altars, light them using a torch, and then match the color of the flame with the color on the altar itself. You do that by adding different colored ferns to the flame. Matching colors completes the level, kills any enemies that are alive, and spawns in a handful of items including a new torch and an ammo box. Enemies will spawn in waves roughly every 30 to 120 seconds, with the range decreasing the more altars you complete, and the number of enemies that spawn in will also increase the further along you get. Again, let me reiterate, this is not how the gameplay of the final game will be. I'm just trying to make a game out of the mechanics I already have in place. The first test build will probably just be single player, with the second build including multiplayer, and I'm hoping to have the first build done late February or early March. All this is subject to change, but that's the plan. It's Tuesday evening now, and I want to catch you up on some of the things I've been working on over the last couple of days. First of all, as you are probably aware, Shadowwood is going to be a third-person game built for VR. I'm well aware that motion sickness is going to be an issue. Additionally, I expect that the average playtime of a single game will be between 20 and 60 minutes, possibly more. With this also being an online multiplayer game, I don't want people who joined a game to be suddenly abandoned because their teammates become motion sick. Nor do I want people hunkering down in their VR headset trying to overcome motion sickness because they don't want to abandon their friends. So I've added the ability with the tap of a button to switch between VR and a traditional monitor. You'll notice that there's a moment where the screen goes blue here while I switch from VR to the monitor. That's because I actually need to lock out the image from the VR headset before switching. I found out very quickly that this is important because if you don't block out the image, the VR headset just retains whatever the last image on screen was, which is actually very nausea-inducing, which is obviously exactly the opposite effect that I'm going for. But it's working just fine now, so if you're in the game and you either feel a bit motion sick or you're just tired of wearing the headset, you can take it off and keep playing without having to even look at a menu. And although yesterday I came home from work thinking I wouldn't have the energy to do anything, I actually ended up making a new playable character. She is a yet unnamed character who will be equipped with a flashlight. No animation for her yet. So I've just implemented a very basic loading and saving of options here. So you can see here they've got an auto inventory close and a controller aid, volume, and then a VR Y adjustment settings. These two don't actually do anything at the moment, but you can see here if what the auto inventory close does is if I go into my inventory, I select an item, and then, for instance, I hit equip. When I hit equip, it closes the inventory automatically. If I uncheck this and go into my inventory, say unequip, it keeps the inventory open. So that's all that does. But the point being here that I can now go ahead and now I'm just hitting a key to save. And when I close this and then start it back up, it should save that I kept the auto inventory off. So if I click this here, it loads my stuff here, and now you can see the auto inventory close is off. And I can do the same thing here with the controller aid. What that is here what I'll do is I'll just drop this on the ground here. When I come up to a object, the descriptor comes up, but if I have controller aid on, what it does is when I get here, it brings up this little controller icon in addition to indicate what button you need to press to accomplish this task. And if I turn this off, it goes away. And same deal, I can save all this. It will automatically, what I'll have it do is automatically save your settings anytime you change them. I don't actually have a menu to do that at this point, but I have this ready to go for when I do have a menu. It's Saturday morning, and unfortunately my 9 to 5 has kind of kicked my ass this week. I've worked on the game a little every day, but I just haven't had a lot of energy for it. Plus, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to approach the menu system, so I've approached it rather slowly. Right now I've got the interface there, and it works both in VR and on a regular screen. It's basically just a starting point, and I'm sure by the time the game is released it will look completely different. Now I just need to actually link up the buttons and gizmos to the things they control. Okay, so I should have the menu system basically in place now. If you hit the menu button, it brings up your menu. You can just go back, closes the menu, should quit out of the application. Obviously, for the full game, I want to have a little thing that comes up that tells you or asks you if you're sure you want to do that. Right now, we'll just quit you out of that application. It won't do that for me in Unity, but if I build it out, it should do that. Remapping the controls is the one thing that I don't have anything set up for yet. But with these other ones here, inventory, auto close, and controller aid are now properly attaching to the things that they should attach to. So with the controller aid, if I turn that on, come up here, you can see my controller. My mouse is being a little finicky here. My controller pops up there to indicate what button I need to hit. That is one issue right there. You can see where I've got UI overlaying, which I gotta fix. But so the I wanted to do this. So now I go over it, and it's not there. And the same thing with the inventory auto close. Right now it's set to auto close, so if I choose to either equip or drop this, the inventory will close when I do that. And if I turn that off, the inventory will remain open until I specifically close it myself. The inventory actually will turn off if you bring up the menu. I have to do the same thing here with these indicators there, so they don't overlap with the menu. But in addition, you can see here so I'll turn those both on and then turn this almost all the way down, stop the program here, and then start it back up. And when I start it back up here, we should see that the things are the same. So both of these are on, and our volume is almost all the way down, so it's retaining the information. which is obviously what we want. And I will also be making sure to save data for things you can unlock. I plan on having a whole bunch of unlockable items and characters and all that good stuff. So that is all functioning properly. Like I said, the one thing I have to do is get this revamping of controls. Basically, I need an interface to do that. I have kind of the structure in place to make it happen. I just have to create the interface. I think that's going to do it for this week's devlog. Sorry if there wasn't too much exciting going on, but once I finish the menu stuff, which is obviously important, I can get into more gameplay related things. And hopefully I'll have a chance to work on animation for the new character this coming week. Tune in next week to find out.